welcome to Activity Quest, the podcast that's packed with stuff to do. In this week's episode, Adam's walking with Dinosaurs at a brand new show in London. My name's Bex. Every week we go up and down the country on the quest for something epic. And this week, Adam's off to see a brand new show at Lightroom in London. It's all to do with dinosaurs. He's found out more. Let's go over to him right now.
Dr. Naish, I'm so excited to talk to you today. We're here to talk about a very cool event. It's a show that's on in London right now at Lightroom. But you are a very cool person yourself. You're a paleontologist. For those who don't know what paleontology is, could you explain that for us? Give us a rundown.
Yeah, hi. Paleontology is the scientific study of ancient life. So any scientist who's looking at anything to do with life of the past, it does include the most awesome animals, things like dinosaurs, giant fossil reptiles, but paleontology is all life. So people looking at ancient plants, at ancient microorganisms, at ancient fishes, ancient insects. If it's in the geological past, if it's more than like a few thousand years old, it's part of paleontology. It includes absolutely everything. And it's a really important science, and it's also a really important what we call a gateway science. It's one of the first things that a lot of people, particularly young people, one of the first things they bump into that excites them about the whole of science.
I've been doing some digging, I've been doing some research. I think you are a super inspiring person. And just to give you sort of an example for our listeners of how big of a person you are, not only have you contributed to the naming of some species, but you've also even got a species named after you. Is that right?
It's true. Yes, it's a great honour, and I'm very pleased with it. There's a bit of a backstory to it. So it's a fossil fish from the Cretaceous of Lebanon. Do you want to say its name? Did you read its name?
I did read it. Does it end Naish? Is that you?
Yeah, so scientific names for living things have got two parts. So for us, we humans, our scientific name is Homo sapiens. The Homo is shared by, there's a bunch of other Homo species, and then we are Homo sapiens. So the Naishi part, which is named after me, that's the species name, and the first name, what we call the genus name, that's the bit that's a bit harder to pronounce. Maybe that's Scalicurvichthys. So Scalicurvichthys naishi is a fish named in my honour. I'm super happy with that. It's great. I love it. It belongs to a very obscure group of fossil fishes called pycnodonts, entirely extinct, and Scalicurvichthys naishi is probably the pycnodont species that's been most reconstructed in artwork, because loads of people that follow me and have read my books and stuff have been inspired to reconstruct Scalicurvichthys in life. And the backstory to it is that for years and years, for certainly more than, oh my goodness, more than 10 years, I've been putting together a gigantic textbook on the whole history of a huge chunk of fossil animals. And I found the fish really difficult, and I was always complaining about the fish because there's so many of them. Most vertebrate animals, that's animals with backbones, includes us, most of them are fishes, and I wasn't too happy about it. But some people that work on fossil fishes were like, well, this is quite a commendable thing to do. Like, well done, Dr. Naish. So they wanted to name a species in my honour. So that's how it became a thing. So yes, what an honour.
That's so cool. I'm so jealous. I think I might have to go into paleontology now just to get sort of something named after me. That would be like a life goal. But we're here today to talk about Discovering Dinosaurs, Prehistoric Planet. It's a brand new show. It's at Lightroom. It's in London. I've seen it. I thought it was brilliant. But for those who haven't seen it, could you give us a bit of an insight? What's the show all about?
Lightroom is an immersive event, as in, you walk into... most of us are used to the idea that you go into a cinema and you're confronted with, what might be a gigantic screen that fills the whole of your vision. And most of us are familiar with planetariums, where you go inside a closed space and all around you, you've got, you're seeing normally the sky. Lightroom works on that basis. It's truly immersive. You are surrounded by an audio-visual event. You're in a closed box. You walk in and you're surrounded by these screens showing you, like all around you, and the floor as well, showing you the world of the dinosaurs. So Discovering Dinosaurs takes you on this tour through a number of different stories to do with dinosaurs, other animals that lived alongside dinosaurs. I should always say, sorry, but dinosaurs are not extinct because birds are dinosaurs. It's an important point I always say. We're talking about extinct dinosaurs, but the dinosaurs and other animals of Prehistoric Planet, you're seeing them coming to life on the walls around you and on the floor. You're immersed in the environment, and it's just incredible. I've seen it multiple times. Obviously, I was involved in every step of it. You get to see at full life size a whole list of the dinosaurs and other animals that we showed in the TV series Prehistoric Planet, made by Apple TV Plus. So you'll see, the gigantic long-necked dinosaurs, the sauropods, at full size. Even they barely fit into the room. We tell the story about, how fossils have been discovered, how people have interpreted them, how they've built up this very detailed, complicated view that we now have of extinct dinosaurs and their contemporaries. And yeah, it's just an incredible show. What a treat. Absolutely love it.
Grasping the sheer scale of these creatures is almost impossible until you stand next to one. Every creature here is life-size. You see these people on the walls? They look tiny, don't they? But they are life-size too. Go and stand next to them and check. It's true. This alamosaur stretches nearly 30 meters long and stands about 12 meters tall. One of the last great titanosaurs, it's as tall as a 4-story building and weighs almost 80 tons.
So in terms of your work, I'm glad you mentioned the Apple TV Plus series, because sort of that is what you are heavily involved in too. In terms of your work and what you did to sort of help construct this entire thing, where does Dr. Darren come in?
I'm pleased to say I've been involved at every step I was involved in every step of the TV series, Prehistoric Planet, and Discovering Dinosaurs at Lightroom obviously takes that world and then has converted it to this interactive, immersive experience. So as the primary technical expert, we spoke to loads of experts, but I'm the main day-to-day advisor. It's my job to help in devising storylines, so how we actually depict the animals, how we actually show them doing things, what they're doing. Is that based on what we experts think is most likely in terms of, behavior and movement and how fast they could move and how they ate, all that kind of stuff. What they look like, it's my job to work with artists and CG experts to actually design the animals, everything about them, from like how bulky their bodies are to how much jiggle there is in their tissue when they move, what their exteriors look like, what the details of their scales are like, or feathers are like. Many non-bird dinosaurs were feathery, as birds are. The marine reptiles that lived at the same time as dinosaurs, what was their swimming behavior like? What exactly did they look like? I've got to provide constant input on all of that. And then you've also got to put all of those animals into an environment, embed them into a real world landscape. That was absolutely crucial to Discovering Dinosaurs looking real. You'll see them like interacting, in forests, and if they're sea animals, in the waves and stuff. The result is something that should look and feel absolutely real as it does when you see, like a documentary about animals alive today. You should get that thrill of feeling that you're looking at real animals in real environments. So my input is at all levels, and occurs throughout the whole process. And oh my goodness, am I happy with the results.
Some of the storylines in this are, I think, fascinating. Some of them are quite touching as well. When working on something like this, what's the line for you between something that is sort of very factual? Obviously, we can't go back in time and interview a dinosaur. And we've made all of these sort of, judgments about how they should move and what they look like. What's the line for you between facts and storytelling?
That's a really good question, and it is something I could talk about for a great length. There's many facets to it, but I would say there's two main things to keep in mind. First one is we want to show people specific things that we know for sure about these extinct animals. There's a lot of things we know for sure. We know, for example, let's go with the most famous extinct dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus rex. We know with absolute certainty this animal was a predator. We know that it hunted and killed other giant dinosaurs, and we've got a lot of detailed information on how it bit them, how it bit their bodies once it had killed them, how it ate them, how it removed flesh from bones. Don't know if some people might find this gory, some people find this fascinating. We want to show what we actually know, and we can say with confidence that we think, for example, that after a T-Rex had killed a Triceratops, that it would have picked up the frill of the Triceratops and moved the frill to one side to get to the neck muscles. That's a really detailed thing, and we know that for sure from fossils. So we want that kind of, let's say, fact-based storytelling. We want to show that. But these were animals that did all the things that animals alive today do. And the more we've learned about living animals and living reptiles in particular, birds are dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are not extinct, but other relatives of dinosaurs include crocodilians and lizards. And we've learned loads within the last couple of decades about how complex and sophisticated their behavior is. And just about everything you can think of that living birds, crocodilians and lizards do would also have been, those things would have been present in the extinct dinosaur world. We want to portray those behaviors. And I often want to get across to people that many of the stereotypes that ordinary people, non-scientists, have about the behavior of reptiles, birds too, they do a lot more things than most people know, and extinct dinosaurs would have done those things. So, for example, let's stick with T-Rex again. T-Rex males and females would have met and courted. They would have had like a courtship dance, a courtship display. They would have persuaded one another that they were possibly going to, pair up and be parents together. And we must show people that kind of part of their lives, because that's a really powerful reminder that these were animals that did all the stuff living animals do. They would have had complex behaviors, and what you see in the modern world isn't unique to the modern world. It's been going on for hundreds of millions of years. So that also is a real guide to behavior. The fossil record is never going to provide us with a lot of the details of that kind of information, the courtship dance of a T-Rex. How can fossils ever show us that? But it must have happened, and I think it's our job to show that.
Above, a different kind of predator soars on vast wings. A pterosaur, bigger than a giraffe and capable of swallowing a human in one. Beneath the waves, another kind of hunter thrives. Neither fish nor mammal, but a reptile. Mosasaur, the apex predator of the sea. But among the giants, smaller animals are stirring. Tiny mammals, hidden in the undergrowth, living in the shadows of these enormous feet. They are our distant ancestors, but their part in the story is a long way off. For now, the giants still rule.
It's Prehistoric Planet, Discovering Dinosaurs. It's on at Lightroom. Final question, in a sentence, why should somebody go and see it?
Do you like dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals? The answer is yes, so you need to see them at life size in a fully immersive, sound-filled, exciting environment.
You can find out a little bit about that by searching for Lightroom. I'm Bex. This has been a podcast from the UK's children's radio station, Fun Kids. You can listen to me on your DAB digital radio, online, on the free Fun Kids mobile app, and on your smart speaker. Just say, play Fun Kids every weekday from 4 p.m. See you soon.